didn't quit. You're really like against all odds. You're doing something that no one in the family's done, that none of your friends have done.
I'm just gonna say the thing you're not supposed to say.
Whatever is mine is looking for me.
You have to know what road to take to get to your final destination.
Everything that you ever wanted is on the other side of fear.
Hello. Hold on, let me see where my comments at. Okay, we're good. Okay, I had to change my setup. I had to change location. Can you hear me? No, actually I'm late. Ooh. Okay, I'm just moving some things around. Okay, I want to open up the back, but I gotta wait until it gets dark. If I'm still on live when it gets dark. So let's get into it. Did y'all see the information with, or no, the situation with Ari Fletcher? Let's pull it up. Let me not even waste your time. Also, if you hear Gotham City in the back, just don't move to Houston. I don't know what else. See, you hear it? Did y'all hear it? Thank you so much. Hold on, let me fix my camera a little bit. Ooh. Okay, maybe not. Maybe we should touch it. Maybe. Oh, that's why. Okay, hold on. Oh, no. If y'all saw my setup, y'all would be like, this is so ghetto. Okay. Thank you for the compliments. Hold on, let me see. Did I get a super chat? Thank you so much. Thank you, Panda. Okay, let's get into this really quick. I talked about this on my TikTok, but girl, they banned me. I had to appeal it. I'm like, what did I say? They said I was spreading false information. Were you in my TikTok live? Do you think I was spreading false information? I blame the administration, the current administration. Because what? I just don't understand. Okay. Let's get into this. So did you see Ari Fletcher? I was like, well, since they banned me on TikTok, I'm like, I'm just going to come talk about it over here. So Ari Fletcher is getting dragged for her and I have to say this, no filter, no makeup, textured skin, and what else? No makeup, textured skin, and no heavy makeup, no filters. She's getting dragged for that by women and men. Now, the men, I understand why men do it, because they feel like this is the moment to humble her. It's a woman that they will never get access to. So I get that. But the women, I'm not understanding. And I'll explain why I don't get it.
Khadijah, Lenny Carvel, him.
There we go. Why? I don't understand why she's getting so much hate. Now listen, this is why I don't get it. Because everyone keeps saying Ari's a mean girl. She been mean. She been mean as fuck. Okay? So this is the thing that irritates me, right? When it comes to this. She's been mean. So I don't understand why she wasn't canceled when she called you broke and ugly the first time. Why didn't y'all humble her when she calls you broke and ugly the first time? That's what I'm not understanding. So, and the reason I'm saying this is because I'm a content creator. I make videos around trends. I make videos around pop culture. I make videos around what's being influenced in the culture. Y'all like problematic people. I just have to be honest with you. Prime example, Chris Brown said he didn't want darkies in his section. Y'all still supported him. Y'all still support him. Cardi B called you burnt roaches and what else she say? Monkeys. And then this year, unprovoked, because if I'm being fair, because I'm a fair queen, unprovoked, she called you fat bitches. And then y'all defended her. This is another thing. Y'all defended her. And that's just how she talks. That's just who she is. That's just how she talks. That's who she is. We love her for that. So I'm like, okay, so I'm assuming you loved Ari in the same way or in a similar way because you never canceled her. This girl has 6 million followers on Instagram alone. So I don't think this is about her problematic behavior. And to be honest, as someone that was never a fan, that didn't really care about Ari because of some of the wild things that were coming out of her mouth, and I just couldn't really support it because I felt like she was a wild card, and I just couldn't stand behind her. So because of that, I never really cared for her like that. But I'm not gonna lie, within the last year or so, she's growing on me. Like, she is. And this is not to defend her, right? Like, this is not to defend her. I don't know her personally, but I've seen the growth. I've seen the growth. And listen, this is another thing, okay? A lot of the girls look dragged today. Like, if we being fair, it's not just Ari. It looks dragged today. Why? Because women are starting to transition out of this heavy makeup, lace front look. But this was for Halloween. This was not like her everyday look or anything like that. This was simply for Halloween. Even she has transitioned more to a more natural appearance with tape-ins and more natural looking lashes. And she normally doesn't wear a heavy contour like this, but she's trying to come across as I don't know who is she cosplaying as right now? I don't even know. But it was for Halloween, y'all. It was for Halloween. And then this is another thing, the surgeries too. This is a woman that has been seen as a pillar of influence in the culture. Starting way back, we could go back as early as like around the Jada Wade, Ari Fletcher era, like the Alexa Skies, the the Instagram baddie, like that era. Starting around, I'd say 2014, 2015, 2016. Pamela Anderson, y'all. Thank you for that. Around that time, she came up during that era and she influenced a lot of girls. So much so to the point she influenced black women to get lip fillers, Botox, cheek fillers, and all of this other stuff that the girls are getting nowadays. And as a millennial, this is coming from a millennial. When I was coming up, it was a flex to be natural. It was a flex to wear your natural hair. It was a flex to not wear makeup. Like, it was just that was the flex. In high school, college, it was a flex to be like, that's my real hair. If you were caught wearing weave, or if your weave was clockable, they would literally drag the hell out of you. That is the era in which I grew up in. And then around 2014, 2015, we slowly transitioned out of that into, you had to have the flyest wig. You had to have your wig had to be laid. You had to have like all of these like external things to make you be that girl, like that it girl, to be a flex. And so now we're transitioning out of that back to looking more natural, meaning your lace, the girls are not wearing lace at all anymore. Like, I'm actually shocked. The girls are doing a lot of half wigs now, where they're putting either the wigs behind their hairline, or they're doing the flip over method, where they're leaving like some of their edges out so they can have that more natural look. So this is my thing. You can't humble someone that you allow to influence you. You just can't do that. And I feel like a lot of people are taking this opportunity to humble Ari because she's been carrying this it girl trope for some time now. And they feel like, oh, this is the perfect time to humble her because she doesn't have the makeup on. She doesn't have the lashes on. You can see her textured skin. And now the girls are in a frenzy. And I'm not understanding why, because it's like, you can't humble someone that you allow to influence you. I don't know how many girls I've been around where they're going to Pinterest, pulling up Ari's photo, and they're saying, hey, I want my hair like that. I want my lashes like that. So I'm not understanding women dragging her. Like, I'm not. And then this is another thing, too. If you were dragging her for her problematic behavior, I wouldn't even be talking about this right now. But you're dragging her for elevating. Because she never came online showing too much transparency. Because when you're the it girl, you can't be transparent. When you're the it girl, you have to put that shit on and have it on all the time, 24/7. You can't even run to the grocery store. You can't go to the gas station looking toe up. You can't. You have to be dolled up. You have to be glam at all times. So now that she's elevating from that very surface level place that she was in, which was very low vibrational, I'm just being honest. She's elevating, and to be honest, I saw a switch in Ari when she made things right with Taina. Never in my life did I ever think that Ari would mature enough to the point in her life where she would make things right with that girl, because they had that back and forth because of G Herbo. We saw that, right? So now that she's maturing and she's also correcting herself too, because she promoted getting surgery over working out. She promoted getting surgery over eating healthy and all of these things, right? So she's elevating and she's maturing more. Also, another thing too, people keep saying that her attitude is nasty, and I agree with that, but I haven't seen the nasty attitude lately. That's just me being honest. I haven't seen it. And to be fair, when it comes to Ari Fletcher, she's always been provoked to me. I haven't seen her just be nasty just to be nasty. And I argue that who you think Ari is in real life is who Jada Wada is, and who you think Jada Wada is who Ari is. But that's just my opinion. Don't come at me. I'm just giving my opinion. Okay? Because it's easy to make someone out to be something that they're not when you provoke them. Am I lying about that? So I do feel like she's matured. She's not as reactive. I'm surprised she hasn't came out with her claws behind the situation yet. I haven't seen anything yet, but I honestly, I've been waiting to see her come out with her claws and start attacking people. And to be fair, it was weird. I went to her Instagram, and the girls that are dragging her follow her. And I'm like, wait a minute. So y'all sitting up, y'all hate watching this girl. Y'all hate watching this girl. It's very strange to me, because when I don't like someone and I think they have an ugly personality, I think they're mean, and I think all of these things, these negative things about them, I don't like to sit up and follow and watch and hate watch and pray and wish on their downfall. That's just not what I want to do. So I felt like that was weird too. Then another thing too is I'm noticing that a huge part of this too, I feel like the reason why a lot of women are dragging her is because this natural textured skin, what she looks like beyond the filters, the bad bitch persona, really triggers a lot of women because they suffer from body dysmorphia. From the filters to the heavy makeup to the lashes to the wigs. When you see a woman that shows an ounce of a realistic look, like being more natural, it really triggers women. And I'm like, what is wrong with that? Do we not know what we look like in our robe, in our rollers, with no makeup, no filter on? I'm confused. Then this is the thing. You can't humble someone that you allow to influence you, because if you went out and you touched your face, if you went out and you touched your body, if you went out and you did all of these things, and you're sitting up and you're making fun of the girl that you allowed to influence you, are you not aware that you're making fun of yourself? And this is why I feel like it's projection. Like it's this Ari Fletcher situation. It's like a mirroring effect. Women don't like what they see because it's reflecting back what they're refusing to accept about themselves. That's what I think that this is all about. And again, if you would have canceled Ari when she called you broke the first time, if you would have canceled her when she called you ugly the first time, I wouldn't even be making this video. But you didn't, because you didn't see an issue with her problematic behavior. You kept supporting her. It's the reason why she has 6 million followers. It's the reason why this girl doesn't have to work a regular job. It's the reason why she's been able to live the lifestyle that she lives. She's been able to go to I don't know how many different club appearances and get paid because you put her on that pedestal. And what I'm finding to be weird as of 2025, I'm seeing women put women on a pedestal, and then when they start to elevate further or more, you want to knock her off that pedestal. But you was cool with her when she was problematic. You was cool. You thought it was cute and entertaining when she was going back and forth with Taina, G Herbo, and all the other girls that were out here coming at her sideways. But as soon as she starts to elevate and mature and improve herself, because I also saw how Ari got backlash. And to some of it, I understood why. Because she was promoting getting plastic surgery over working out and eating healthy. And now she's encouraging you to take care of yourself, to take care of your vessel. So I get that. I get that. So that's what I'm seeing, though. It's like I'm seeing women now drag her and pull her down, not because of her problematic behavior, but because she's actually trying to improve herself. That's what's throwing me. That's what's weird. And this isn't to really defend her, because, you know, the energy you put out, sometimes you get that back. I understand that. But it's weird seeing it come from women. That's what's weird to me on so many levels. From, or do we not know what we look like without makeup? Do we not know what we look like with textured skin? I don't know how many girls I've seen on TikTok pop up on my For You page talking about how they don't have pretty girl privilege, all because of acne. All because of acne. That is insane. That is insane. I used to struggle with acne, so it's crazy to me. And they're like literally downing themselves, like, yeah, I don't have pretty girl privilege. And I'm just like, girl, if your skin was to clear up, then you would have what you think that you don't have, or you will have, because it's an illusion. You will have what you think is promised to other women that you deem to be prettier than you, all because you have acne. I don't understand. And yes, we are biggest haters ever. And what a lot of women don't understand is, like, when you hate her, you're hating yourself because you're a woman. Like, you're a woman. Even if you didn't allow her to influence you, right? When you hate her and you're making fun of how she looks in her natural state, you're a woman. You're making fun of yourself. It's very weird. And what is upheld in the process of all of this? Misogyny. This is what kills me. Like, every moment there's a chance for women to decenter men and decenter the ideologies that are attached to it, they fail the test every time. It kind of reminds me of Christians, where it's like, oh, this is the time to show Christian love, not Christian hate. This is time for you to extend grace and patience and understanding. And they miss the mark. Same thing with women. It's like the system has people in a chokehold. We don't know how to show grace, compassion, patience, and understanding for other people. We don't know how to hold any space for them at all. And then at the center of it all, it's misogyny. It's the social hierarchies that are upheld by the patriarchy. Like, every time we fail the test. I don't get it. So, I don't know. At the end of the day, do I think that there could be some karmic energy attached to this? Absolutely. I'm not against that. But when it comes to you and your growth as a woman who claims to be decentered, who claims to not be feeding into sexism and misogyny, who claims to be decentering from the patriarchy, you shouldn't have been on the receiving end of the karma, though. It should have been men. And listen, when you feed into male validation and you feed into these extreme hierarchies and things like that that are rooted in what men like, they're going to eventually turn on you. Sometimes it's age. Sometimes it's a hairstyle that they don't like. Sometimes it's you gaining weight, having their big-headed ass kids. I don't know. It comes at some point, though, which is why I do believe in pretty girl privilege. I believe in pretty girl privilege, but I also believe in pretty girl punishment. Because when anything is rooted in male validation, there's always going to be a catch. And you can't think that it's all pros. That men will punish you too for the very thing that they love or that they like, that they're sexually attracted to, that they deem as beautiful. They will punish you for it too. So, I don't know. I'm going to move on. I was kind of disappointed in seeing how women reacted and responded to Ari Fletcher over her bare face. I don't get. And another thing too, the reason why it's concerning is because when I was coming up as a millennial, I never thought I would see black women get lip fillers. So it's like, if you're making fun of her face, I'm not understanding. And this is coming from a millennial. Like, we didn't do that type of stuff. And also, there was this one girl that popped up on my For You page. Everyone says that millennials look young for our age. And you want to know why I think it is? We didn't wear the heavy makeup. Like, I didn't start wearing makeup till I was 23 years old. So I think that's why we're slower to age, because we wasn't putting all those like products on our face. We took our time. Like, hell, we started learning how to do makeup in our either early to late 20s. Some of us still don't wear makeup. I don't even wear makeup every day. I don't. So I think that's another reason too. It's like, when you start early with that stuff. And listen, the only reason I'm saying this is because I grew up predominantly in a white community. And whenever I get on Facebook and I'm looking at some of my classmates that are white, the thing that I'm noticing, and this is no shade, this is just observation. White women age way faster than we do. And when I think about growing up with them, they used to wear heavy makeup. They used to wear heavy, like they used to do the heavy tans. Sometimes it was like the heavy spray tans that were like 3 shades darker than what they were. And then they used to wear like makeup on top of that. So I'm like seeing them age and I'm like, oh my gosh. And they get the wrinkles around their eyes that I'm like, oh my God, it's crazy, y'all. So to the younger girls out here, slow down. Okay? Because when you speed it up, you speeding up aging. I don't think people understand that. Because girls were wearing like that heavy makeup, even if it was just foundation. It wasn't like eyeshadow and all of that. It was just foundation and it was the spray tans. But they started doing that when I was in middle school. They were wearing the tape-ins, or were they tape-ins? I don't know what they were, but you could clearly see their hair extensions in the back. They was wearing all of that type of stuff very, very, very young. So I'm gonna tell you to slow down because I'm just 30. Like, I'm not even old. I'm not old. I'm just 30 years old, and I'm seeing how they're aging so much quicker than me, and I'm like, whoa, y'all, it's crazy. So just slow down. That's all I'm gonna say. No shade to anybody, but just slow down. Take your time. There's no rush. Okay? There's no rush. You have your whole life to wear the makeup. You have your whole life to wear wigs and weaves and all of that. Just slow down. And I'm telling you, later in life,
I don't understand.
This is what I be talking about. We already agreed to AI. Slow down, because I'm telling you, later in life, you will appreciate that I told you. Okay? Just slow down. Slow down, slow down, slow down. Oh yeah, all the teasing of the hair, y'all. I'm seeing any other millennials out here where you're seeing how certain people made certain decisions, certain women made certain decisions, and you're seeing how it's paying off for them. Either it's paying off for them, or you're seeing how it did not pay off, and it's terrifying. And you used to think that maybe that's what you needed to do, or you thought that maybe you weren't doing what like you didn't do the cool thing, but you should have done the cool thing, and now you're seeing with age that, oh, thank God I didn't fall victim to doing the cool thing, because you're seeing how it turned out and it didn't turn out well. That's the age that I'm at, y'all. So to the younger women, just slow down, because it's scary. When you get to this age, it's scary as hell. It's scary as hell. Let's get into this too. I want to talk about this video. This broke my heart, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to give this girl a hug so bad, because I've been where she is currently.
Honestly, like, I've reached a point where I'm kind of just like over it, because no one talks about how hard it is when like you have a light and there's something special about you, and you could just be being yourself, but because you have a light, it threatens everybody. And people like will literally do the most to try to humble you and cripple you down. It's absolutely insane. It's like they see that you're educated, you're pretty, and then don't let you be black, and don't let you be fucking dark skinned, and then they just want to like fucking humble you. They want to do everything in their power to just like take credit, take shit from you. It is annoying. It's annoying. It's like I feel like I cannot flourish in any space, because there's always gonna be a jealous ass bitch preying on my downfall and working towards it. It's annoying. It's like almost every space I walk into, like, it's annoying. Even at work, bro. Even at work.
Now listen, I'm gonna stop her right here. When you have a light about yourself, and typically people who have lights are authentic. They live in their authenticity. They're not afraid to. Okay? Like, that's what it means to live in a light. People who don't live in their light tend to conform. They tend to submit to expectations. They tend to submit to things that are outside of themselves. So the people that I'm really talking to are the people that are not afraid to live in their authenticity. You're not afraid to showcase your individuality. You don't conform. You don't try to live up to other people's expectations. Like, you do things your own way, and you show up as yourself. You don't wear masks. You don't pretend. You don't perform. You don't do any of those things. So people see that, and they're threatened by that. Now, why would they be threatened by that? Why do you irritate them so much? It is because your light, you choosing to operate that way and live in your skin, irritates them, because your light is shedding light on their shadow, on their darkness, on the parts of themselves that they don't want to face, that they don't want to confront. They live in limitations and you don't, and that triggers them. And so they tend to project. They want you to feel like how they feel. They want to put you in this space within yourself where you feel down and bad, and you feel like the world is against you. You feel like everyone is against you. They want you to feel that way, because how dare you live like that, or live like this, or live in your truth, live outwardly. How dare you do that? That is what they're irritated about. And then they have to continue to hide. That's why they don't have a light. That's the only reason why they don't have a light. This isn't about being chosen versus being not chosen. I don't really get into that. This is not about being cool versus not being cool. This is not about fitting in versus not fitting in. It is just strictly choosing to not be afraid to be yourself and living your truth outwardly. There's so many people hiding behind masks, pretending to be something that they're not. And you don't operate like that. And that bothers them. Hi, Tyra. Thank you for the super chat. You don't live like that. That's how they live. And then you trigger them And some people see this as inspiration, so it's not everyone. You can't think that everyone is against you, because it's not everyone. Some people really do see you as inspiration. They see you, they're inspired by you, and you make them want to come out of their shell. You make them want to step more into their authenticity and their individuality outwardly, and you inspire them to want to live in their truth and be who they are outwardly. But you have those other ones that you trigger because they're afraid to come and live out of their shell and live outwardly. And then not only that, typically they tend to compare themselves. So then it becomes this comparison issue too, where they see the things that you're good at, and then they compare what you're good at based off of your individuality, based off of your authenticity, and then they compare themselves to that. And then they think that they're not good at anything, or they're not talented at anything. But it's because, again, they refuse to go inward. They refuse to see themselves. They don't even see their talents. They don't even see what they're good at. They're too busy comparing themselves to your light. That's what that is. Let's continue.
Almost every single boss I had, it was like they felt small next to me, even though they were my boss. So they just like would insert so much dominance over me and like just like power trip so much, because even though they were making more than me and they had a higher position than me, my aura and my essence and my light shined through so much, it just made them feel small. So
now, why did they, and then this is another thing, because we do this a lot. I do this all the time. Hell, I did this the other day. No, last week. When I was talking to my spiritual teacher, she was like, don't do that. And I'm like, well, I'm not doing anything special. Like, I'm just being myself. I'm not doing the, she always goes, stop. What you do, some see as something that they can't do. And what you do may seem simple to you, easy to you, normal to you. But other people see it as a big fucking deal. So stop downing yourself. Because again, like you're doing that because you are just being yourself, right? And you don't see what they see. You don't. So don't do that. The reason that this person who is technically above her, right? Because that's her boss. How could you trigger someone that is above you? Why are they playing these power dynamics with you? Like, why do they feel like they are powerless when dealing with you, talking to you, working side by side with you? Why do they feel like that? It's because they feel that you have something that they don't. Even in their position of over you or above you, they still feel like you have things that they don't. You have things that they want. And seeing you every day and then working side by side next to you, having this power struggle with you, does something for them. Makes them feel more important. Makes them feel better about themselves. Makes them feel like maybe they have a chance in comparison to you, in competition with you. That's just what that is. That is just what that is. So let's continue.
they had to convince themselves who's the leader here, to the point where they going out of their way to power trip. And it's annoying. That shit is annoying. I feel like I can never, like, unless I'm alone, it's like it's always some evil eye, it's always some jealousy, and I'm not doing anything but being me. Like, it's so fucking annoying.
Now, I also want to say this. When you're a light, and there's a lot of us that came here that never conformed. We didn't give into what was cool. We didn't give into what was popular. Like, we always been ourselves. We always been ourselves. We may have been influenced based off of what we liked, based off of what may have been cool off of that, or during that time, or within that phase, or within that space, or within that phase, or within that season of our lives. But we always remained true to ourselves because it was genuinely what we liked. It just so happened to be cool. So another thing that I noticed too is with light keepers that are on the younger side, the reason why you're having these issues is because you haven't learned how to protect yourself. So you got all these people coming at you sideways, and they're wanting to tear you down, and it's because you haven't learned how to truly protect yourself. And protecting yourself is not through isolation. A lot of us think that we should isolate ourselves, and that's the only way that we can protect ourselves, but that's not the way that you protect yourself. Is through isolation. First of all, the reason why isolating yourself isn't the move is because you don't deserve that. You don't deserve to be alone. You don't deserve to be isolated. You don't deserve to not have community and not be in community with people. So one thing that you may have to learn is how to operate in certain spaces, and it's not about dimming your light. It's not. It's just 9 times out of 10, it's seeing the people for who they are and knowing how to deal with them a certain type of way, knowing how to handle them in a certain type of way. So a lot of times when it comes to being a light keeper, we don't like to pass judgment on people, right? We try to wait to see if they do something towards us before we feel the need to protect ourselves, right? But you got to learn how to peep personalities that you're not going to mesh well with. You got to learn how to pick up certain comments and remarks that showcase that they may be insecure. Because then once you hear that they're insecure, that's when you're going to have to go right into protecting yourself. Because I'm telling you right now, we can't hang around people that are not confident. We cannot. We can't hang around people that don't know themselves and they don't have a self-identity. Because we know ourselves. It's the reason why we move around. We bop, bop, bop. We here, we're there, we're over here. We doing this, we trying this, we here. We do whatever the fuck we want to do. That's what we do. We literally everywhere, trying everything. Because we do what we love. We don't have restrictions and limitations. We don't feel like we can't do this and we can't do that. And I can't be here and I can't hang here. We're not even the type of people that feel like we need somebody to go to the bathroom with us or always be in packs. Like, we're not like that. So you got to learn how to discern. You got to learn how to protect yourself. And when you're a younger light keeper, it really comes down to reading personalities. And the first thing that you need to see is, are they secure within themselves? Do they project their insecurities? Because it's not about having insecurities. Everyone has insecurities. It's about, do they project them though? Do they have some type of handle on their insecurities, like shadow work, self-reflection, introspection? Then the third thing would be, do they know who they are? Do they have their own identity? Because a lot of times when you become friends with someone and they don't have their own identity, or when you become close to someone and they don't have their own identity, you know what they do? They start to copy you. That's what they do. And then when they start to copy, because they were comparing, and it doesn't work for them in the way that it works for you, then they start to hate. Then they start to get jealous. Then they start to become envious, because them copying you isn't working for them in the way that it works for you, and they see that. And what they don't understand, because there's duality, what they don't understand is, if they would turn inward and find themselves through their own self-identity, they would have their own light. They would need to copy you. They would need to be jealous of you. They would need to be all of these things. But they refuse to do that work, because when you go inward, you can't just get to your light. You have to get past your shadow. Because everyone loves to talk about what they're good at and how good of a person that they are. But we all have a shadow side. People don't want to go inward because they don't want to have to work and get past that shadow. And you want to know why? It requires an ego death. You know how painful an ego death is? Especially if you have childhood trauma where anytime something triggered your ego, your self-esteem took a hit. And so now you think less of yourself. You don't think you're worthy. You don't think you're good at anything. You don't think you're smart. You don't think you're creative. You don't think you're talented. Anytime that this has occurred for some people, they internalized it in such a negative way. So now they don't even think highly of themselves. So if they turn inward to find themselves through self-identity, authenticity, and originality, they don't want to get past that shadow, and they don't want to trigger their ego to get past those things. And so what do? It's easy. It's easy to trip you up. It's easy to be jealous of you. It's easy to be envious of you. It's easy to want what you have. It's easy for them. It's hard for them to do the work on themselves. That's just how it is, and that's just how it goes. So there were times where, when it comes to your light, and the only reason you can carry a light in this world is not just authenticity, but you also face yourself. You face your own demons. You face your trauma. You face the things that make you who you are, because your trauma, your demons, the things that you struggle with also make you who you are. I always say that your light makes you worthy and your darkness makes you interesting. Your light makes you a kind person, but your darkness makes you a person that is human, a person that is imperfect, a person with a truth, a story, substance. Your darkness will always make you interesting. So when people tend to just be in their light and that's it, they're not interesting. They're just performers. That's why they don't like to be transparent. Being too transparent or overly transparent, they'll feel judged, which is connected right back to an ego death. Because you've done that. You don't care. Like, you're at a level where you don't give a fuck. You already know people gonna judge you when you're doing well. People gonna judge you when you're doing bad. People gonna judge you regardless. So you've reached that acceptance within yourself. You've reached the acceptance that this is just how life is and this is just how people are. You've already reached that acceptance. So you don't care. They have not mastered that yet. So it's just something that they are struggling with. And then this is a dark-skinned black woman. And I saw it firsthand with Olandria that people are jealous of you. Like, honestly, the most disgusting behavior that I've seen from women was behind a dark-skinned black woman. And of course she's beautiful, but I think there's more to it than just beauty. I think it's the confidence that a dark-skinned black woman carries in a world that wants to reject her, that doesn't want to accept her, that doesn't want to deem her as beautiful. I think it's more than, Olandria is just a beautiful girl, or a dark-skinned woman is just a beautiful woman. I also think it's because of the confidence that you carry in the midst of you also not being accepted by the majority or by the masses. Because again, this is about them fitting in. And you, as a dark-skinned black woman, you will never truly fit in because of the world in which that we live in. It crucifies you for having a darker skin complexion. So a lot of it has to do with not just beauty, but a lot of it has to do with how dare you show up with that much confidence. Because a dark-skinned black woman could never truly conform. She can't. Her skin, her complexion, it won't allow her to. So I noticed that. I noticed that with Olandria. I was actually very disgusted seeing the projections from women. And you know who I saw the projections from the most? I mean, of course, there was the anti-blackness. We saw that. It was non-black women. I saw that shit the most. It's that Facebook group that I'm a part of. And I'm not gonna lie, around Olandria being on Love Island, I really thought about leaving that damn group because I felt like it was just so toxic. The projections, y'all, were so disgusting. And it was because these were non-black women comparing themselves to Olandria. And it was so triggering for them. It was just, so add another layer to that too, because this is a dark-skinned black woman. Add a thick layer to that, because like I said, I saw that in real time and I was like, wow, so this is what they're talking about. Disgusting. It was very, very, very disgusting.
And then sometimes it's I be trying to dim my own light, bro. This is literally so fucking frustrating. I be trying to dim my own light. I be trying to not look as good. I be trying to sound dumber sometimes to make other people feel better. Like, this shit is so fucking annoying. Like, it's so annoying. Like, I'm so over that shit. Like, I don't know why people can't just, like, work on themselves. Like, why I gotta experience the bad shit because you're fucking insecure and I'm not? Like, why I gotta get the bad hand of it? Because you, like, I'm reminding you of your insecurities. Like, that shit is annoying. And there's so many
And that's what I saw in non-black women. The insecurities were loud as fuck, y'all. Because Olandria being beautiful like that, right? And they don't think that they're beautiful for whatever reason. And she had the audacity to be a black woman, a dark-skinned black woman. How dare you? And that triggered the fuck out of them. Like, I'm like, damn, like, it was bad, y'all. I saw, and then, like, it's mixed. And see, the reason why you don't think it's jealousy, because it's mixed in with, like, racism, and it's mixed in with all of these other things that the system upholds. So, like, but no, I don't know. It's something about Olandria that really just highlighted. It put, like, a hyperfixation on the fact that it's jealousy. Like, it's envy. That is what that is. And it's so crazy how some black women have internalized that as, I'm not pretty enough. And it's like, no, it's the opposite, y'all. It is the opposite. They are literally projecting that onto you to make you feel like you're not pretty, or you're not gorgeous, you're not all of that. Your face card is not really eating like that. It's the opposite. That's how they feel about themselves, and they're projecting that onto you, and so you're internalizing it. So one thing that I've also want to say too, when it comes to you having a light, don't internalize what people are projecting on you. People project on me all the time on social media. I mean, they project fear. They project their insecurities. They project their assumptions based off of most likely their insecurities or their own experiences. And every time I see people try to project on me, I take the projections and I put it back onto them, because that shit don't have shit to do with me. That has everything to do with yourself. You're not about to put that on me and then expect for me to carry it on my back. That's not my burden to carry. That's for yours to carry. You need to put that shit on your own back. I don't know how many times I've had people project on me when it comes to religion, spirituality. I'm like, you're confused. I'm not. I know who I am. Not only do I know who I am outside of religion and spirituality, but I know who I am on the inside. You can't tell me who I am. You can't. And that's the thing about the world that we live in. It's always trying to tell you who you are. You can't, no one can tell you who you are. Only you can tell you who you are. So it's always mind-blowing when someone comes along and they try to tell you who you are. No, that's who you are. That's who you think that I am, based off of your own experiences, which comes from who you are. So you got to be able to read that shit. Like, they will literally try to come at you sideways. And it's crazy. And you can tell they've done no shadow work. They don't do any real reflection on themselves outside of what things in the world tell them to do. And we're going to get into it on my Patreon. But they literally do things from a place of outside things. They don't understand that for you to truly know yourself, it can only come from inside. It can only come from inside. Nothing in this world can tell you who you are. You came into this world not knowing anyone, not knowing anything, not knowing nothing, right? But the only way you could truly find yourself is you have to turn inward. You can't turn outside of yourself to find yourself. The world is the world, and you are you. And some of you need to know the difference. I don't think the girls know the difference. You are you, and then there's the world.
Motherfuckers out like that in the world. Like, too many motherfuckers who have authority who act like that. It is annoying.
Crazy, y'all. The pain, y'all. You can hear the pain in her voice. Like, that video really touched me, honestly, on so many levels. It's awful. But I have been there. I just need the girls to understand that protect yourself. Okay, that's what that is. You're still exposing yourself. And sometimes when you expose yourself, it starts with the mind. Don't let people get in your head. Don't. Because they will try. And the reason why they try to get in your head is because they're trying to gain control over you. So you have to protect yourself. And part of protecting yourself is knowing who you are. Because then you're easily able to separate yourself from other people's projections. It's so easy. It's so easy to read other people when you know who you are. So sometimes we internalize other people's opinions and thoughts and things, like how they feel about it, their feelings about us, because we still struggle with who we are. But I'm telling you, once you focus more on finding out who you are, it's so easy to separate yourself from those projections, those assumptions, those opinions, the gossip, the bullshit. Honestly, it's very easy. Okay, let's move on. Let's get into, I saw this situation, and this was another situation that broke my heart.
What I really wish is that for you men to be honest with women from the beginning.
Now let me know if you can hear her, because I turned it all the way up. Like I went in, edited the TikTok video, tried to turn it up because it was actually way lower than this. So let me know if you can hear it. It's gonna be very low though. Let me see if I can turn it up a little bit more on my actual computer top though, because it's so low. I don't think I can. Okay, you're just gonna have to be quiet. Turn up the volume just a little bit. I'm gonna play it and then I'm gonna give my commentary.
I've been battling this for years, crying for years, because I went from a virgin at almost 30 years old to a single mother. And it hurts me because I've been silent for too long. And all I hear people say is they disrespect women and mothers all the time. But they don't never talk about how men lie and deceive women. And they don't even want to be with them. I wish I would just be honest with women before the trauma begins. So I went from a virgin to almost 30 years old to a single mom, to be in trauma, to be in survival mode. That's what obsessed me the most. Like I was a good girl my whole life, loyal to people that deceive me the most. And that's what messes me up the most.
Now listen, her kids, I think she said she has a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old. So this didn't happen to her recently. This happened which a few years back. So 8 years ago. So put that into context. Honestly, I'm not like, this broke my heart because this was my worst fear. And to see this happen to her is awful. It's like seeing your dream seeing your fear come true. And it's the reason why I held off on sex for so long, was because I already dealt with men lying. Like, they just lie. They don't care. They don't. And unfortunately, 8 years ago, right, social media, TikTok, hell, even Kevin Samuels, he wasn't around yet. Men weren't being honest like they're being honest today. Like, today, I'm like, okay. But back then, absolutely not. Men were still hiding in, like, man caves. They were hiding in sports bars, having conversations with men about their true nature. They were hiding in spaces like the barber shop, having those type of conversations. They're having those barbershop conversations online. And so now women are able to make smarter choices and decisions. But unfortunately, she was not able to do that. Oh, yeah, this is still one of my worst fears as well. This is still one of my worst fears. Honestly, it would be my worst fear until menopause. And even menopause, because I've seen 50-year-old women still get pregnant. It's going to be my worst fear until I leave planet Earth. Because it's just crazy. I got stuff going on, y'all, in the back. I got stuff going on. I'm like, what the hell is that? So let me stay focused. So The thing that's like alarming me is seeing how down she is now that this has happened to her. It just seems like she's lost all hope. So let's continue to see what she has to say.
They gotta even have a choice whether or not to be in survival mode. But you men don't care, you just move on to the next. You don't care who you put in survival mode. And y'all not trying to elevate at all. You're not trying to be with any woman. You're not trying to be with the woman that you really want to be with. Because you play games. You all play games for generations to come.
So I'm gonna be so honest with y'all, and I've been honest about this conversation for as long as I could. Being a late bloomer, and it's so crazy because this came up, this video came up, and then this video came up, and it's so crazy because I literally said the same thing years ago.
I'm going to say the thing. Religious women tend to give the worst advice.
The worst, y'all, I'm gonna be so honest with y'all. The worst advice I ever got was from a religious woman. The best advice that I ever got was from a sex worker woman. This don't got nothing to do with your belief. This don't got nothing to do with your religious or spiritual framework. This has everything to do with the truth. The worst advice that I ever got was from a religious woman. The advice was so bad, it could have ruined my life. I could have been in the same boat as the woman in the video before this one. Because I listened to her. It was the worst advice of my life. Thank God I used my own discernment and critical thinking and got myself out of the situation. But the worst advice that I ever got was from a religious woman pertaining to men. The best advice that I ever got was from a sex worker woman.
Their advice is always based on self-sacrifice. You are always putting your body, your soul, your mental health on the altar in hopes that it changes others. And so whenever I am looking for clarity, advice, information on the next step, I never go to religious women because I know that it's never going to be in service of me. It's always going to be in service of the men in their lives.
And that's it. That's exactly the advice that I got. The advice that I got was because I came to her and I asked her, I'm like, were there things about your husband that you didn't like? Were there things about your husband that you felt you just didn't want to deal with or accept because it affected you negatively, right? Like it had an impact on you negatively. And you know what she said? Oh, there are things about my husband that I didn't like, but, I accepted those things because I accepted him. And I prayed for him. I prayed for the relationship. When I tell you taking her advice could have destroyed my life, I'm not over exaggerating when I say that. And you got to remember, I lost my virginity at 27. When I tell you I could have had my life destroyed and I waited until 27, I could have had my life literally destroyed taking her advice. It was the worst advice ever. So basically, she was like, put up, shut up, pray, sacrifice yourself, sacrifice your sanity, your happiness, and just deal with it. The worst advice of my life. Like, honestly, I could be a single mother right now. Honestly, my whole life, the trajectory of my life could have went in a totally opposite direction in the worst way. In the worst way, which is why you will never see me sit up here and make fun of single moms, women who go through certain experiences with men. Because were they misled? Were they misguided? Were they led in the church? Because you have to ask questions like that now. Were they being manipulated? Because I'm telling you, the woman that I spoke to, she tried to make it seem like this type of stuff was normal. Like, oh, as women, this is just what we do. This is what it means to be with a man. Like, she really tried to normalize it. Like, this is just what women have to deal with. So I don't listen to all women. All women not worth listening to. I'm sorry. And this was a woman that I looked up to in other areas, and I still do. Just not this one.
It's always going to be in service of the institution, the Bible, the church, but rarely will it ever be in service to me. And so when I think about how I plan my committee, because I think every woman who chooses herself should have a committee of people who they come to for reprieve, for advice, for just fellowship, I don't put them on there because I know that what my philosophy is in direct opposition to what they live their life by.
And that's when I realized that I didn't want my life to turn out like that. I didn't want my life to turn out like their life. I didn't want to be a prayer warrior for a man that was negatively impacting me, and it was a choice. Because that was the thing that this is how I ended up walking away. I noticed that this man was making a choice. He was making a choice, and I had a choice too. And I left. The worst advice that I ever got. So, and I feel like this woman, if I could go back, she most likely took advice.
What I really wish.
If you go to her TikTok, she's very religious. She's a Christian woman. She even has the Bible emoji by her username. So, and she does a lot of talks about, Christianity and things like that. But I believe that that's how she ended up in the situation. She most likely took advice from an older woman or women in general around that time or in her space or in her community. And it just wasn't the best advice at all. And a lot of it has to do with women really believe that they should suppress, they should sacrifice, they should be a self-serving and be of servitude. And then they find themselves in these situations with men where they're getting the shortest end of the stick. They're not being taken care of. Men are making decisions without a care in the world of how it negatively impacts them. And so they stay. And then they stay in these relationships with these men, and they pray and, they hope for him to change and to do better. And it's like, I ain't got time for that. And if that makes me a bad woman, cool. I'm okay with that. If it makes me a bitch, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with whatever you want to label me, because I'm never putting up with no shit like that. Never. It's just not happening. So, unfortunately, I believe that this woman who went from a virgin to a single mom, and now she's in survival mode, I believe that she was misled and she was misguided, and this is where it landed her, unfortunately. And if a lot of those women stood up for themselves, they would be single moms too. But they stay and they pray and they wish and they hope for change. So it's crazy. And this is why women, I highly recommend that you learn yourself outside of things in this world. Because you know what you want and you know what you don't want. And in that moment when I chose to leave that relationship, even though I got the worst advice of my life, I knew I didn't want my life like that. I knew I didn't want to stay in a relationship with a man who didn't consider me and didn't even consider how his behavior, his actions, and his choices negatively impacted me. I didn't want to be with somebody like that. So it's important for you to know yourself outside of things in the world, including religion. Including religion. There was someone in my Discord that talked about, Yoni, can you please talk about how some women, or there's this trend now where you see people go from new age spirituality to they run back to the church and they have a testimony. And anytime I see people who do this, they're always searching for something outside of themselves. So they tried out new age spirituality, whatever that is, and then they had their experience with that. It was a negative experience. So then they ran back to what they were familiar with and what they felt comfortable with. But the whole time that they did that, right, they went from one outside thing to the next outside thing. And they think that they have found themselves. But all they did was swap one outside thing, searching for identity, living through this thing, thinking that that's their identity, and swapped it out for a new identity, or an identity that they were already familiar with, or an identity that they were already comfortable with. They still don't know themselves outside of those things. And I'm going to give you a prime example of this. I'm going to give you a prime example. Let me pull it up real quick so I can give you an example of what I'm talking about. Because I see it all the time. And I'm like, it just seems like it's an identity crisis. It doesn't seem like it's anything else but that. Hold on. It's pulling up. It's pulling up. Because the number one thing I notice that people struggle with when they're chasing something outside of themselves, it could be religion. It could really be anything. It could be anything. It could even be career. It could be education. Anything that gives them a label. Anything that gives them a label in society, they are struggling with their self-identity.
Organized religion stole my life from me. Let's chat about it. So I have been thinking lately about my life and like what it would look like if I could do what I wanted to do. And it would not be what I'm currently doing. Right now, I'm a mother of 4. I'm married to my high school boyfriend. We've been together 2 decades. And he is a pastor at a church. And I left organized religion about 3 years ago. And when I left organized religion, obviously my husband stayed in organized religion. He is a pastor at a church. But when I left organized religion, I started kind of like trying to figure out what in here is me versus what is the organized religion that I was brought up in, Southern Baptist. I'm in Texas.
Now, I want to make myself very clear. There's duality in this conversation. So she's speaking on Christianity, but I've also seen people go to spirituality and experience the same thing. Okay? So there's no, it's spirituality versus Christianity or religion. No. That's not what this is. This is done in both frameworks. Okay? Because again, this is about things outside of yourself. So I want to make myself clear. This can be easily reversed. All right. This is not about being extreme. This is not about choosing this over that. That is not what this is. This could go either way. She's trying to search for who she is outside of these frameworks that society wants you to put yourself in, all because of a label. Okay. So she's trying to find who she is outside of these frameworks that require her to submit to these things or these ways of thinking and making certain choices and decisions over her life. So again, this can go either way. It's not just religion. It could be spirituality as well. So let's continue.
And almost all of everything up here, organized religion. Organized religion is responsible for the way my life looks today. And that's like a really hard pill to swallow, because on the one hand, I'm an adult and I make my own choices, right? Like, I got married at 21. I was an adult. I could make my own choices. Don't hear anything in this video as like, she doesn't want to be married, she hates her husband, she hates her kid. No. Stop. It's not that I don't want to be married, and it's not that I hate my husband. I don't. I like being married. I like my husband. I don't hate my kids. I love my children. I'm not a monster. But I would not have made these choices if I knew there were other options available. That's where I'm angry.
And the framework that she was in, okay, never taught her the framework that she was in, that there were other options. So I'll fix that later. So she's in this lifestyle, right? Which your lifestyle should be determined based off of your identity, your wants, your desires, etc., etc. But she's coming to the realization that it's not. That these decisions and choices were based off of the framework in which she most likely was born into. So she's looking around and she's looking at her life and she's questioning, I don't think I actually wanted this. I don't think that this was something that I truly chose for myself. I think that this was something that was chosen for me to believe in. But it's not what I would have chosen for myself if I would have decided these things or made this choice based off of knowing myself. That's what this is about. And so, like I said, this could go either way. This is not just, it could be anything, really. It could be anything. We could use the example of, if you've ever seen people that were born into a family that was highly successful. Like, I know someone from my high school where she was born into a family. Both of her parents were doctors. And I think she had like an older sister, herself, 2 younger sisters. They were all being brought up to be doctors, right? So the framework in which she was born into was to become a doctor. She was African too, by the way. And you know how that is. So the framework that she was born into was to become a doctor. Everybody around her was a doctor. So she was like, oh, okay, I need to be a doctor. But was that what she really wanted for herself based off of knowing herself? Or did she make this choice and decision because of the framework in which she was born into, and they had already made that choice for her, and it was an expectation? It can go either way. I could use so many other examples.
Growing up, and I've recently realized, just this year, I've recently realized this. Growing up in Southern Baptist culture, I can't think of and childless by choice. Didn't exist. If you were single, you were looking for a husband, high and low. If you were married, you were trying to have kids. And if you couldn't have kids, you were still trying. You were adopting. It was never, we don't want children. Like, we're choosing not to have. It was never that. Because, ew, what? You can't choose to have no kids. Like, that's not okay. So I never grew up with an example of any life other than you graduate high school, you go to college, you meet somebody, you get married, and you have kids, and now those kids are your responsibility because you're the wife and the mom, and you take care of them, and you do it all. That's what I was fed. That's what I was told my only option was. And if you strayed from that, or brought up if you did happen to see someone living a fulfilling life that didn't look like that, and you brought that up as hey, what about this? They were like, that's sin, that's bad, that's from the devil, you're gonna burn in hell, and blah, 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 blah. There was no other option. I didn't get another option. Literally at my wedding table, I just got married, I go to sit down and have lunch, and people are already, when are you having kids? When are you having kids? When are you having kids? Just barking at me. When are you having kids? When are you having kids? this all came about in my brain recently because some friends of mine, we were having lunch a couple weeks ago, and they went around and asked, like, what'd you want to be when you were a kid? What'd you want to be when you grew up? And I jokingly said a trad wife.
Oh,
because that's exactly what my goal was when I was young.
Oh, girl.
The pinnacle of success as a woman in Southern Baptism was being a trad wife. That's what you aspired to be. I want to just have babies and stay home.
Oh.
So that's what I did. I have 4 kids, and again, don't hear me say I hate my kids. I don't hate my kids, okay? I love my kids. I'm not a monster. But at the end of the day, would I choose to live this life if when I were 15, 16, if I had options, if I had TikTok and social media and I saw people living other lives? Like, there are so many options of what you can do with your life. And all I was told to aspire to be growing up was a wife and a mother. So,
and see, part of her framework is, and again, I could even use the example of the doctor family, that there's no happiness outside of that. There's no salvation. This is my favorite. There's no salvation outside of her framework. There's no money. There's no stability. I could go on and on. Like, everything that I see majority of people believe in, it is rooted from upholding the system that we know that we don't fully benefit from, but we still believe in these things. Why is that? We still believe in these things, even though we know we don't truly benefit from it fully.
So, in my eyes, at least how I feel right now, organized religion stole my life from me.
Because this is a woman that's supposed to be happy in her life. Like, she always dreamed of being a trad wife. She believed that that was the life that she was always meant to live and meant to have, but she's not happy in it. She's not fully happy in it. And again, so when we go back to the testimonies, right, of people going from Christianity, no, they came from Christianity, then they went to New Age spirituality, and then they went back. It's because they explored something outside of what was taught to them. And by them doing that, they found themselves and they went back. So now they're not a prisoner to what they were born into or a framework that they were accustomed to. So you'll see them go back because they at least tried something outside of their framework, and they found that this was what was more comfortable for them. This was more in connection to what they believed in. So they went back. It's all a matter of choice. But some people feel like they go back because that's the only way to live, or that was what was right for them. So that's where they went back to. And the only way that the only reason that they know that to be true is because they went outside of what they already practiced or what they already believed in. And they ended up finding that this was just more in connection with me. So again, it's a matter of choice. This is why I don't judge people. I don't care what framework you choose for yourself. I'm always going to focus on your conscience. Because if your conscience is Christ-like, that means you have humility, you have kindness, you're caring, you are someone that has integrity, you're trustworthy, you're all of the things that would make the world a better place. So I don't really get caught up in the frameworks, but at the same time, are you choosing your framework for yourself, or was it already chosen for you? And again, the framework is not just your religion. It could be your lifestyle. It could be your career. It could be how you choose to dress, how you choose to show up in the world. Like, your framework, is it the one that you really chose for yourself, or was it the one that was chosen for you? That's the difference. And then once you choose something for yourself, you're going to be happier in it. It's when you don't choose something for yourself where you're not ever going to be happy in it. So it doesn't matter what framework you choose, just make sure you're truly happy in it. And again, you can't project on other people and expect that what you do in the framework that you choose, that everyone is going to be happy in that framework. Everyone is not going to be happy in the same framework that you live in. So you can't put that on them. You can't project that on them. What you should always require is their conscience. Do they have one? Do they show humility? Do they care for others? Are they trustworthy? Do they have integrity? That's what you should put more focus into. But everyone is focused on the framework. And when you focus on the framework and you expect for everyone to live in that framework, you're more focused on control, which comes from a very egotistical place. And it's a very shadow aspect of viewing the world. And it's very extreme. And it tends to come from not a really good place, in my opinion. So let's continue. But she seems to be happier outside of this framework. And it seems like her husband, who's a preacher, seems to be happier inside the framework.
Because I probably wouldn't have made the same choices that I made to get where I am right now without that knowledge, that voice in my head that said literally everything else is bad and a sin and you're going to die. And I think that's BS. Like, we got to do better. We got to do better. That's a cult. Come on. Like, no. I'm literally telling all of my young friends, you have options. You don't have to get married and have 8 kids right away. You don't.
Oh, yeah, I'll watch that.
You can literally travel the world. You can be single if you want. You don't have to have kids. You can get married and have no kids. You can get married and have...
The movie Heretic, I've never watched it before. But y'all, when that man pulled out the Monopoly board, and you know what? It's so crazy because I'm like, I figured this out just based off of me deconstructing not only religion, but deconstructing the system. And so now I've deconstructed religion, I've deconstructed the patriarch, and now I'm at the level of trying to deconstruct the oligarch. So that's the level that I'm at. But when I tell you, when that man pulled out that Monopoly board, I was like, oh my God, I did the same thing. Oh my God. I literally did the same thing. And I talk about the Monopoly board all the time. Never knew anything about the landlord game. I'm going to have to look into that. But I was like, oh, wow. Damn, I figured all of that out on my own. And to see it play out like that in real time, I'm like, wow, this is insane. So now I'm on Kanye West, where he's deconstructing the oligarch. And it's the reason why his banking account disappeared. How did his bank account disappear? We'll have to talk about that. Membership only. We'll have to talk about that later. But yeah, like, I'm deconstructing the oligarch. And yes, when he put all of those in the Heretic movie, and I highly recommend that you watch it. It's on what is it on? It's on Hulu. It's systems within systems exist. And if you feel like you haven't made it to that level yet, that's because you haven't accepted, or you haven't came to the realization that systems can exist within systems. So once you accept that system exists in systems, and religion is also a part of a system existing within a system, then you'll be able to unlock the fact that we don't just live in a patriarch, that we also live in an oligarch. Okay? But that's a really good movie. Like, it's the reason why you will never see me pressure people to choose spirituality over Christianity, or to choose Christianity over Islam, or to choose being a Jehovah's Witness over being Catholic. Like, I'm just not doing that. I think it's a waste of time. I know it's a waste of time. So I'm just not doing that. And then all of these religions come from African religion and African spirituality. It all goes back to that. So it's crazy. And I could even go a little bit deeper about the whitewashing as well, but we don't have that much time. So let's get into this. Let's see what else she has to say.
1 kid or even 2 kids. Why do I have to have 4? Why do I have to have so many? Like, the organized religion is just pushing, like, have so many kids.
Ooh.
Stay home.
Girl.
Raise the kids.
Ooh.
I don't know, man. Some days I just feel like this ain't it. But
can we explain why are we having kids, though? Like, why do they push having kids so much? Is it really to be fruitful? And the reason why I'm saying this is because we're having these kids, but like these kids are coming, they're coming here to suffer with the government shutdown. And I have a feeling that this government shutdown is going to last a while, which means kids are going to go without food. So they want us to be fruitful because it benefits the system, but you don't want to take care of the kids. You don't want to take care of the families that are raising kids. It makes no sense to me. So how can it, like, to be fruitful would mean to be abundant. You're not encouraging people to have these kids based off of this Christian country. You're not encouraging people to have these kids to be fruitful. Because if you were, you would have them come here and live in abundance, but you're not. So what is it really for? Greed. Capitalism. Got it. Because, y'all, listen, if they take food stamps away from people, healthcare, I think I'm gonna lose it. I've been keeping my cool, but the military family situation, I'm glad they made that right temporarily. But I'm telling you, if we go through a holiday season and people do not have food, if we go through a holiday season and children are starving, and this is a Christian country, I think I'm gonna lose it. I think that's when the angry black woman, I think I'm gonna lose it. I think I'm gonna stop painting my nails at that point, because y'all have absolutely lost your mind. Like, seriously, and then part of, and that's what I'm saying. Like, this is why I focus on the conscious, not the framework. Because if you really focus on the conscious, then you're watching someone behave a certain way, which means you're watching their true character, right? So that means you would have humility, right? You wouldn't want people to starve. You wouldn't want families to go without, right? That's why I don't get into the labels. I don't get into the framework. The frameworks, to me, it's just it protects certain people to get away with certain things. That's what it seems like these frameworks are all about. You know, the PDF files, the abusers and the manipulators and things like that. It just protects them. That's what it seems like. Because if we focusing on the conscious, half the stuff that be going on wouldn't be going on, right? Because people would have good character. That's why I don't feed into it.
I'm doing it because it's my responsibility. Again, I was an adult. I made the choice. I'm living the choice. Don't hear me complain about that, please. But at the end of the day, I could have made another choice. It just wasn't presented to me. So that just kind of sucks.
And listen, it's okay to make a choice. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to, I don't really agree with the new age spirituality term, because a lot of the practices are older than Christianity and other religions. The practices, not the label, the practices, right? They're old. They're like ancient. So I don't really agree with that necessarily. But I will say, like, I don't see anything wrong with you turning away from your framework in which you were born into. You went out and you explored, you figured life out, whatever the case may be, and then you turned back. I don't see anything wrong with that. If it's coming from an authentic place, I really don't see anything wrong with that. It's just a matter of what you're choosing for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Okay, let's continue. Let's get back to, what was the other thing that I wanted to talk about? Was it this one? Oh, this is a prime example. This is a Christian country.
So I live in Texas and I'm pregnant with my third baby. And I am pro-life. I always have been. There is no greater gift on this earth than a child. But I am kind of freaking out right now. And I'm starting to regret the way I voted, the way I've been thinking. And honestly, I'm scared for my life. I'm older, so this is a high-risk pregnancy. I had my first two babies, I did home delivery. I delivered them at home, and it was painful, but it was no problems at all. This one, I'm older, and it's high risk, so I had to go to a different doctor than I usually go, and she's, all the way in town. So I have to drive, 40 minutes in town to see her. So in this third trimester, things are getting a little bit tricky. And she said to me today, she said, you need to start making plans to deliver this baby out of town. You need to spend the next few weeks out of state. I don't know anybody out of state. I was like, what are you talking about? And she said, well, you're very high risk. And we're monitoring this baby closely. But if the baby's heart rate slows down, if we think the baby's life is at risk, you could die. And she said the reason is because in this state, you're not allowed to operate on a woman who loses the baby. You have to go into labor naturally, and you have to deliver the baby. You have to go into labor and you have to deliver the baby. And if you have a dead baby in your uterus for that long, you could go into septic shock and die. And I was like, what on earth are you talking about? And she was like, well, it's all about abortion. And she told me that these late...
Now, listen, I know this woman, she's a Trump supporter, and people have their opinions about that. But I'm looking at the bigger picture here. And this is why I said the girls that are out here casually having sex, do you love yourself? Do you? Because you putting your life on the line now. It ain't about, oh, he broke my heart. He don't want to be with me. He don't want to be committed. Girl, you are literally putting your life on the line. You are. Because now you don't have choices like you used to. They're trying to take them all away. Literally. And then how much you want to bet? Eventually, they're going to try to take birth control away. Because they're trying to see how we respond to the IVF being more affordable. And if we don't go for that, you know what they're going to do? Take birth control away. So do you love yourself? Like, I'm really asking you because I'm concerned, y'all. I'm concerned because now if you get pregnant, you have so many limited choices to the point where it could put your life on the line. And being a Black woman, we were already high risk. It didn't matter what age you were because you were Black. But now, so she's over here she's over here really trying to decide what she's going to do. And so she's either going to take the risk, have the baby in her state, and pray for the best and hope for the best, or she's going to go out of state and have this baby and make sure that she's safe and the baby's safe. But if she stays in the state that she's in, they could both lose their lives, or she could lose her life and then the baby lives. It's a mess. So the reason why I'm sharing this, and this is all rooted in religion. This is all rooted in Christianity, because this is a Christian country. This is what they believe in. So they don't, and then this is so crazy. They don't believe in your life, even though they believe in pro-life. They don't believe in your life. They believe in the child's life, even though it's your body. This is insane. This is so insane to me. Then you go through all of this. You take the risk and you go through all of this. And we haven't even gotten into Project 30. My mama just told me about Project 30. I'm trying to keep up with all of these damn projects. I haven't even read up on Project 30 yet. I know about Project 25, which it's very clear. This woman right here was very ignorant to Project 25. Project Esther, which is why Project Esther is why I believe that this is an oligarch, that a system exists within a system. Because if you read Project Esther, to me, it screams oligarch. It screams bloodlines. And it will also showcase why people are starting to say, what are they saying? United States of Israel, bloodlines. I'm not going to get into it. If you do your research, then you know what I'm talking about. So Project 30, my mom told me a little bit about it, but I need to do my own research before I publicly speak out about it. But it's like, I need the girls to wake up. Girl, they are making changes on your life, on your future. Project 2030. I'm sorry, y'all. Project 2030. Project 2030. They're making all of these changes, and it's like everyone is talking about celebrity gossip. And girl, we're not even gonna have any rights to even care about celebrity gossip. It's like, listen, I believe in healthy distractions and in escapism because I believe in duality, but this ain't the time to really be escaping on every day, every hour. You got to keep up with all these changes that they make it because it's gonna have a real impact on you. So this is crazy. Let's continue.
Term abortions. I mean, I'm so embarrassed to say this. I literally thought that babies were born and mothers were killing them. Doctors were killing the baby after it was born. I thought late term abortion was an abortion. You end the pregnancy because you don't want to have a baby, but she said late term abortion is just a necessary procedure when you lose the baby inside the womb to protect the mother's life. I was like, what are you talking about? Then, of course, I called my husband.
It's crazy.
And he's at work. And he's like, that's dumb liberal doctor.
What?
Don't listen to her. We're staying here. Let's find a new doctor.
That dumb liberal doctor. Y'all, this country is cooked. You know how the men be like, oh, the women are cooked. This country is cooked. Okay? Now, listen, there are multiple ways for you to protest black people. You don't got to run out in the streets, okay? Because they trying to make us, there's some purple movement going on. They feel like that's the answer. That ain't the answer. Not for us. Not for our black asses. If you care about black bodies, I wouldn't go outside. But we need to start organizing because it's really getting out of hand. And I'm not saying go out and run in the streets because that's what they want us to do. That's a complete setup, right? But we got to start doing something because this is getting ridiculous. And then she's stupid. I'm sorry. She's an idiot. Her husband's an idiot. And that's how they ended up in this situation. Just being ignorant and racist. So racism is just beating their ass. And I told y'all, I said, and I'm not talking about the spicy whites. I'm talking about the racists, right? They're going to have a rude awakening. She's having a rude awakening. So, it's a mess. So this woman could literally lose her life. And her husband may aid in that for being ignorant and stupid. It's crazy. I feel like I'm living in a Twilight Zone. It's like, you idiot. I don't know what else to say. It's like you really have to be a fool.
Honestly, I don't know what to believe. Because for my entire life, okay, I'm 35. My entire life, I believe that late-term abortion is somebody saying they don't want their baby. And that's not allowed in the state of Texas, obviously, because I vote for Trump. I vote for MAGA. I vote for Greg Abbott. But they're telling me it's actually something different. It's a life-saving procedure to save the mother when the baby has died in the womb. That's insane. That's not allowed? I have to make plans out of state? I don't know anybody outside the state of Texas at all. And I'm not going to have an abortion. Why can't I if my life is in danger, why can't I save myself? I have 2 kids at home. I'm freaking out. My blood pressure is through the roof. I have no idea what to do. Somebody who's from a different state or somebody who's a doctor, just please explain it to me because this cannot be real.
And you know what I'm going to do? Go back to minding my business. I'm just warning other women out here. Listen, having a baby right now is a big risk. Okay? Huge. Think about it. And then to have a baby by somebody and they ain't shit, girl. All right? And then it's like, it's a risk to just get pregnant. Because you know how the girls are like, I'm going to just get an abortion. I'm going to just go to the clinic. Girl, they're trying to you not understand they're trying to get rid of the abortion pill? I told y'all, what was it? Back in, this is before my niece was born. She's 3 years old. So back in 2022, girl, you was supposed to close up shop anyway with the Roe versus Wade overturn. I told, like, it's like people think that this shit is a game. They've been making these changes for a while now. What did you think was going to happen? What did you think this was all leading to? I'm like, I'm concerned. And then the government being shut down, y'all, is a huge thing. And then you want to know what's even worse? I think the government is going to be shut down for a while. That's what makes this whole thing worse. And I hope that my Patreon members, I really hope you took that video that I did at the beginning of this year and you put food aside, you put water aside, beans, rice, because this is going to be a cold winter. And I hope that you were setting stuff aside little by little, not all at once, just little by little. You were setting things aside because I'm telling you, I have a weird feeling that this is going to be a cold winter and that they don't care if people starve. And I told you, probably like 2 years ago, whenever Houston had that hurricane here, that we're casualties to them. They don't care really about us. They don't. If it doesn't fit into their budget, if it doesn't fit into their political agenda, if it doesn't fit into whatever they got going on, we are just casualties. We're just a number. And so they are okay with just you being a tally, and then that's it. So please, if you can start preparing, then I would prepare. And I'm going to tell you to get water, beans, rice. It's so much going on. Okay, let's continue. Oh, is that everything? Hold on. That's everything that I really wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about these things. I want to make you all aware. I didn't do a conspiracy theory video on Patreon members only this week. I kind of gave you a break because I'm not trying to press you. Like, honestly, I'm not trying to make you, I'm not trying to put you in a dark place. So I'm probably going to do another celebrity gossip topic to distract you on purpose. I'm just being honest. I'm going to do another celebrity gossip topic to distract you. But then next week, we're going to get right back into keeping up to date with what the hell is going on, because it's important to keep you informed. Also, I did upload a reading. If you're interested, it's on my Patreon. Check it out. It's the winter arc, what you need to focus on. And I will be doing the workshop, what you will need. I will try to have that video up if not by tomorrow, Saturday. So you can get your supplies. It's going to be very simple. And that's pretty much it. That's all that I have regarding this video. Like I said, ladies, it's time for you to start making wise choices. And it's time for you to start making choices that your mother didn't make, your grandmother didn't make, your great-grandmother didn't make. It's time for you to make certain choices over your life that is kind of unpredictable and uncertain right now. And it's time for you to get ahead as well. Like I said, with AI, it's all about survival. I talked to my mother as well, and I told her that I have boundaries when it comes to AI, that I'm not just for AI and that's it. I have major boundaries when it comes to AI. There are just certain things I will never use it for. There are just certain things that I don't feel like aligns with my belief system, my morals, and my principles. One being that there's only one creator. Okay, there's only one creator that I know, and AI will never replace my creator. Okay, and I mean God of the Most High. All right. So that's one boundary that I already have with AI. There's some other boundaries as well. Like, I will never replace human interaction, human connection, human emotion with AI. I will never, ever use AI for cognitive therapy, healing, or anything like that. That's ridiculous. And I'm just adding to the list. Another thing that I will never do is I will never just depend on it. You know, I will use it as an assistant, but that's pretty much it. But the reason why I'm telling you this is because Black women, the only way we can secure our future is we always have to be ahead, right? We always have to be 2 steps, 5 steps, 10 steps ahead. That's the only way we can secure our place and our position, because we always have to be 5 times better, 10 times better. That's just how it is for us. And so I'm wanting you to leverage that so that you can have a secure spot, because you educating yourself and learning a system or a program before they do gets you opportunities, opens doors for you. That's what this is about. And I'm telling you, I even went and saw some of the comments. People are telling me that, Yoni, they're already making these changes. They're already making these. They're already making AI a requirement. Now, when you have your resume, they're making that a requirement. So, seeing how Black women are the most unemployed, get ahead. You are one of the smartest group of women that I ever know, that I have ever met. Get ahead. And that is how you secure your future in your spot. And one thing I've learned about AI, it's at the level of kind of like coding. That's the best way to explain it. It's at the level of like, you remember when MySpace came out and you could make widgets and you could create your layout and you had to put in certain codings and things like that. That's where AI currently is. Well, the one that we have access to. Okay. But there's systems within AI. There's different programs within AI. So like you have so many different options. Like I've seen they have programs for like finance and accounting, and then they have programs for like being like data and analyzing information and things like that. And then they have other programs for like scripts and writings and editing. They have so many different programs within AI that you can learn more about and teach yourself about. So another thing too that I noticed is that it's at the level of coding a website, so that you would have to learn prompts. That's what it's about. It's like you learn prompts. You learn how to put in prompts to produce certain information, or to produce an image, or to produce what else? To produce, depending on the program and which program you're using and why you're using it, to produce like this one lady, she used it for photo shoots. So she was helping entrepreneurs, and she was helping them by creating a photo shoot, a professional photo shoot, so that they could put it on their website. She was doing it for brands. She was doing it for corporations, and she was doing it for small business owners. And she learned how to create prompts for certain looks and to create a photo shoot. And she was able to pay bills with that. She was able to make a income with that. So that's all I'm saying. I'm just asking for Black women to get ahead, because I'm telling you, that's the future, whether you like it or not. We've already agreed to the digital shift, and the digital shift is also happening in other parts of the world. And the best place to look to, China, Japan, they're advanced. They can't even go into the grocery store without having their digital. What do they do? Do they do facial recognition over there? I think they do facial recognition, or they have like some type of, I don't know, some type of like digital scanner. I don't know. I need to look more into it. Let me see. Fashion model, the first angel that walked out was pregnant. Oh, the angel. Oh, I didn't even think about that, Sabrina. Thank you for that. I didn't even think about that. So they're heavily promoting pregnancy right now. Interesting. Be careful, ladies. That's the only thing I have to say. Be careful. It's a big risk now. Okay. Thank you all for joining. Please give the video a thumbs up, and I hope to see you in my next one.
This is my opinion. I'm free to state my opinion anytime I like, right? Thank you.
I don't want you to feel like that, but yeah, feel like that.
This is my opinion. I'm free to state my opinion anytime I like, right? Thank you.
I don't want you to feel like that, but yeah, feel like that.